At my birthday bash, my dad brought home Sarah from the orphanage. She shares about half his looks. Sarah, sis, I'm sorry. I'm not here to tear your family apart. I just really crave a family of my own. So, feeling bad for her, my parents took her in, and my brother was ready to do anything to keep her safe, even if it drove me nuts, which eventually led to my tragic death on the street. In this life, without a second thought, I pulled a girl from behind me who resembles my mom about 70%. What a wild coincidence. She's looking for a family too. Pairing an illegitimate child with another illegitimate child. Makes sense, right? When Dad introduced Sarah to the house, he looked genuinely surprised. I guess he didn't expect the house to be so dead when it should have been lively. Dad gave me a skeptical look. Isabel, weren't you throwing a birthday party today? I was on my phone, stealing glances at the two by the door. Not feeling it this year. Unfazed, Dad quickly adjusted and brought Sarah over. Well, meet my newly adopted daughter, Sarah. Sarah, this is your sister, Isabel, and brother, Noah. Next to me, Noah looked up at Sarah, his eyes lighting up. He gave my shoulder a little nudge. Sis? I managed a quiet smile. Back then, Noah still had love for his sister. Sadly, he would later choose Sarah over me, leading to my demise. Luckily, I got a second shot, reborn 5 days earlier. In my past life, at my birthday party, Dad introduced Sarah as his adopted daughter in front of everyone. I, seemingly under a spell, lost it and went off on Sarah in public. Sarah hit the ground, going along with my force. Sis, I'm sorry. I didn't come here to wreck your family. I just really want a family. My fiancé Alex stood up for Sarah, loudly demanding an apology. She just wants a family. Can you be a bit more understanding, Isabel? Apologize, give her some shares, and let's move on. Even my usually distant mom took my side against me. Isabel, what have I taught you? I'm so disappointed. My naive brother, seeing Sarah cry softly, didn't know what to do. Thanks to these folks, my reputation took a nosedive that night. After several incidents, even my biggest supporter, Grandpa, lost faith in me, and my old friends sided with Sarah. My parents shielded her, Alex dumped our engagement for her, and Noah handed me over to the wolves, leading to my brutal end. When I woke up again, it was 5 days before my birthday. Given a second chance, I saw how dumb I was before. What I thought was love was just torture. Lowering my eyes, I didn't react. Dad, unable to stay calm, started lecturing. Isabel, Dad only brought Sarah home because she's got a rough past. You should be generous and stop bullying her. Sarah, right on cue, knelt down, eyes filled with tears. Looking closer, she shares about 50% of Dad's looks. Sis, don't sweat it. I'm not here to snatch your parents away. I just really want a family. I didn't do anything wrong, yet I was made out to be the bad guy, and they still blamed me. Mom came downstairs, saw the scene, and immediately started yelling at me. Isabel, what are you up to now? Are you bullying again? She moved to help Sarah, asking, Who is she? I laughed. Your adopted daughter, the one who loves kneeling the second she gets home. Mom's face darkened, letting go of Sarah. Adopted daughter? What's all this nonsense about suddenly adopting a kid? Don't tell me this is your illegitimate child with someone. Dad frowned. Nah, Sarah's got a tough background. I went through the proper channels to adopt her from the orphanage. Dad pulled out the adoption papers he had ready. I watched, smiling. The papers were legit, but so was the possibility of an illegitimate child. After all, Dad kept Sarah at the orphanage. If memory serves, Dad's first love had the same last name as Sarah. Curling my lips, I called over the sneaky Sarah hiding behind Dad. Come here, Sarah. She pretended to be surprised, cautiously approaching me, but I saw disdain in her eyes. What's your name? I asked. Sis, I'm Sarah, Dad had said earlier. She replied, What a coincidence, you've got the same last name as Dad's first love. Sarah hesitated but nodded instinctively. Yes, I smiled, but Mom exploded. I don't agree, Isabel. Don't agree to this. Isabel wouldn't possibly agree, I chuckled, squinting at the schemers, shattering Mom's illusion. No, I agree. As soon as I said it, everyone was stunned. Dad looked at me, puzzled. Isabel, you really agree. It wasn't shocking he was cautious. In my previous life, Dad revealed Sarah at the party to piss me off, embarrass me, and disappoint Grandpa, because I held the power in the family. Dad was an in-house son-in-law, Mom was useless, and my brother was a playboy. I was Grandpa's chosen successor. That's why Dad hatched this plan to separate me from Grandpa and trap me. Isabel, have you lost it? How dare you defy me? Mom screamed hysterically like a maniac. I looked at her calmly. You never raised me, so why should I listen to you? This family disgusts me. In my last life, their greed pushed me to death. This time, I'd take them down, along with my so-called fiancé. Maybe my glare was too intense. Even foolish Noah felt uneasy. He cautiously tugged my sleeve. Sis, what's with the scary look? I shook his hand off, annoyed by his sis calls. Turning around, I told them, I agree to adopt Sarah. Before Dad could celebrate and Mom could rage, I spoke again. But I paused, clapping my hands. A small room opened and someone walked out. Mom's face went pale, even a bit scared. They resembled each other about 70%. Dad and Sarah were clueless, but Noah was intrigued, inching closer to her. I was thrilled, but it's just a coincidence. I also adopted a sister, Ella. Ella politely bowed, then looked at everyone. Sis, dad, brother. When Ella's eyes met Mom's, they were full of resentment. Mom, I curled my lips into a silent smile. It'll be fun once the two illegitimate daughters are in this house. My dad was the first to object. This is nonsense, Isabel. What are you doing? Whose kid is this? Did you kidnap her? Send her back. Even if you don't like Sarah, you shouldn't use someone else's kid to embarrass her. Kidnap? I laughed. Dad, defending Sarah, wasn't above slandering me. Before I could say anything, Ella stepped forward and grabbed Sarah. Hey, don't get me wrong. I'm not here to break things up. I'm here to join the family. Isabel saw how pitiful I was and brought me home. So, like you, I'm a foster daughter too. You see, I don't have a family anymore. Hearing the same thing from someone else made Sarah push her away. I don't even know you. Why should I care? Ella took the chance to cry out and fell to the ground. Sister, how can you hit people? I clearly explained it. Sister, aren't you a foster daughter too? Why are you acting all high and mighty compared to Isabel? Hearing this, I almost couldn't hold back my laughter. Ella's tricks are so similar to Sarah's. Sure enough, just like my dad was mad before, now my mom was furious. She stormed forward and slapped Sarah. Sarah, who said you could hit Ella? Kneel and apologize to Ella. My dad immediately shielded Sarah. What are you doing? Why hit Sarah? Why can't I hit her? Isn't she a foster daughter? Am I not allowed to discipline her? You can't hit Sarah for someone we don't even know. This so-called Ella, I don't agree. Bull. I didn't agree with Sarah coming in here either. I was about to burst into laughter. This farce is so entertaining. Sarah can be as fake as she wants, but I found someone even better to handle her. I lightly coughed and glanced at my dad. So I agreed to adopt Sarah, but why can't I adopt Ella? You seem so eager about Sarah. Could it be she's your illegitimate daughter? Dad sneered. Can't I adopt her just because I pity her? I nodded. But Ella's pitiful too, so why can't we adopt her? Dad was stunned, his face turning beet red, unable to think of a reason. My clueless, attention-seeking brother Noah also came out to show off. Sis, just agree to both already. Grandpa listens to you anyway. I nearly laughed out loud. This idiot actually helped me without realizing it. Can't blame me now. If I didn't mess them up, I'd really be doing myself a disservice. I looked at Sarah hiding behind Dad. Oh, Sarah, you haven't said a word, just staring daggers at Ella. Are you bothered by her presence? But Ella's been through a tough life too. Her dad went to jail for dealing drugs. Her mom... I turned to my mom with a smile, saying each word deliberately. Her mom ran off with someone. Mom's expression went awkward, and she looked down. Sarah's face darkened. No, I cut her off with a smile. And you might not realize it, but I'm the one in charge here. With that, I shot a cold look at her. Sarah shivered and collapsed onto my dad, pretending to faint. I pointed at the two of them with a smile. Mom, look at those two over there like a couple. Mom snapped her head up, hatred in her eyes as she looked at them and shoved Sarah away. She raised her hand again, but Dad blocked it. Enough. Haven't you had enough drama? Adopt them both. Got it, Isabel? Make sure to let your grandpa know. As expected, Dad backed down. Since that was settled, I tilted my head and looked at Noah. Noah, who do you want to live next to you? Noah was taken aback, flustered. Sis, it doesn't matter who lives there. His eyes darted between the two girls. I gave a knowing smile. How about one on each side? Siblings should bond, right? No, no. Two abrupt voices rang out. I smiled and tilted my head at my parents. Why not? Shouldn't they get to know each other? They're not related by blood anyway. If Noah ends up liking one of them, wouldn't that make us one big happy family? With that last line, I stopped speaking. Just as I thought, my parents objected even more fiercely. But I know Noah too well. The more you tell him no, the more he wants to do it. Why can't I? Sis already said yes. We'll do it her way. With that, Noah took each of their hands and led them upstairs. I grinned, satisfied. Honestly, it didn't matter if I pushed things along or not. After all, Sarah in a past life ended up in Noah's bed anyway. Except this time, there's Ella too. Whether she seizes this golden opportunity or not, it's up to her. Just as I was about to leave, Dad suddenly called out to me. Isabel, have you been drinking the milk the butler's been preparing for you lately? I paused for a moment, then acted like it was nothing. Of course I have, been feeding it to the toilet. Dad's eyes gleamed with satisfaction and mockery as he smiled at me. Isabel, remember, for big events, you still need to consult me. How could you just cancel the party? After all, I'm your father. I looked at him expressionlessly, then turned and left without another word. In the future, he wouldn't have many more chances to smile. Being reborn made me see things clearly. Why did I lose it and go crazy at my last birthday party, attacking Sarah in front of everyone? That madness was out of control. Afterwards, I was disoriented and my moods were all over the place. Every little thing terrified me, and I couldn't help but lash out at the staff. I eventually lost my sanity. After being reborn, I investigated discreetly and found the answer. My dear father, who I once thought loved me deeply, was giving me milk every day before my birthday party. He drugged it all for his daughter, willingly destroying another one. What a great father. But back then, it was him who knelt at our doorstep, soaked in rain all night, begging to marry my mom. My mom's logic never made sense to me in my past life either. She ran off with a man, and after a few years, he was in prison. So she abandoned both him and her kid to come home. Grandpa arranged marriages for her, but she rejected them all and chose my dad herself. She gave birth to me and Noah, yet completely ignored us. But after Sarah showed up, she was uncharacteristically protective and caring. I never got her affection towards Sarah until I found Ella. I hadn't been back in my room long when Ella knocked on my bedroom door. Her eyes were full of admiration as she looked around my room, then gave me an excited little bow. Thank you, Isabel. Thank you for bringing me back home. Thanks for giving me a place to belong. I'll help you deal with your problems, I promise. I raised an eyebrow and smirked. Look at that. This kid who crawled out of a den of vipers is already trying to win me over. I waved a hand at her. I just brought you home because I felt sorry for you. Didn't ask you to do anything in return. If there's nothing else, go rest. I'm tired. Ella hesitated. Sis, what's up? Carefully, she gauged my expression. Do you know anything about my real mom? I let out a laugh. How could I? Everything I know you told me yourself. Satisfied, Ella made some small talk before leaving. I blinked. Oh, but I know more than that, my dear little sister. In my past life, my mom often looked at Sarah and called her Ella. But back then, I was too out of it to dig deeper into these questions. After I was reborn, I immediately started investigating, beginning with my mom. And wouldn't you know it, I found out. When I found Ella, she was being bullied by a bunch of girls in a club bathroom. Think you can steal my man? Girls, strip her down. Take pics and post them online. Let everyone know what a piece of garbage she is for stealing someone's boyfriend. Ella, crying, retorted, Is it my fault she can't keep her boyfriend in check? I didn't force him to like me. As the ringleader was about to slap her, I had people pull them away and gave them some cash to leave. I walked up to Ella, lifted her chin, and looked at her face. In that moment, I finally understood why my mom had favored Sarah so much in my past life, even though Sarah wasn't related to her at all. My mom had a child with that man in jail, Ella. Sarah and Ella looked way too alike. Not in looks, but in that dangerous charisma they both had. Part of me wanted to break Ella right then and there, but I held back. Playing the role of the innocent rich girl, I tidied up Ella's clothes. Ella, where's your family? Her nose wrinkled with pain, and the tears came again. Dad's in jail. Mom ran off with someone. She tugged at my sleeve. Can you help me, sister? You seem really capable. I'm so tired. I just want a normal life. I smiled softly and agreed. Of course you can. I only have a brother. An extra sister could be nice. Come to our place. So I brought her home. The moment we stepped in, she froze at the sight of the family portrait in the hall. I knew what scared her. Her mom, who ran away, was living a life of luxury here. The resentment in her eyes when she saw my mom that evening wasn't fake. And as for Sarah, this time I placed my mom's true daughter right next to her. How far would Sarah go now as a substitute? I couldn't wait to find out. Ella didn't disappoint. She used everything in her arsenal to compete with Sarah. When Sarah only served Dad dinner, Ella teasingly said, "Oh, Sarah, just serving Dad. Do you hold a grudge against Mom? Let bygones be bygones, right? After all, she's your mom too now. Unlike me, I guess you didn't get the chance to learn proper manners growing up in an orphanage, right? Not like me, so consider it." She then served everyone, even gave Sarah an extra dish. Sarah, don't be shy. If you can't do something, ask Isabel. She won't judge you. Sarah, on the verge of tears, couldn't respond before Ella let out a sob. Dropping her utensils, she wept. Why won't Sarah talk to me? Is it because she doesn't like me? I'm just trying to help. Sarah's freshly brewed tears awkwardly fell from her eyes, unable to defend herself. When Noah was drunkenly brought home, Sarah rushed to cling on to him, swaying beside him. Big brother, are you okay? Let me take you to your room. Ella, unfazed, walked over with water, bumping Sarah aside. Water spilled all over Sarah. Ow. Ella, what's wrong with you? Ella, taking over the task of helping Noah, looked genuinely surprised. Oh no. Sarah, are you all right? I saw a puddle and didn't want you to slip. Hope I didn't push too hard. You won't blame me, will you? Sarah's face flushed red with rage, unable to argue back. And when Sarah decided to cook for the family to win them over, Ella quickly volunteered to help her. How she assisted, I didn't see. But when Sarah brought out the soup, Ella rushed over, took the dish from her, then tripped, spilling it all over herself before Sarah could speak. Ella was already crying. Sister, you don't like me, do you? Why spill the soup on me on purpose? I was just trying to help, not steal your thunder. I'm not taking credit for your work. My mom, unable to see Ella being mistreated, stepped in with a slap. Sarah, do you have any idea how expensive this dinnerware is? Who's gonna pay if you break it? My dad joined the fight. Why are you shouting like that? Is that any way to talk to a kid? Meanwhile, Sarah was completely ignored. As this unfolded, I sat aside, entertained. Yet all shows get dull with repetition. Somehow someone noticed my inner boredom and decided to stir things up further. My fiancé, Alex, suddenly showed up at our house. I was about to head out when I saw him at the door, about to knock. A flash of disgust crossed my eyes. He looked past me into the house, giving a smarmy grin. Isabel, did you feel me coming and open the door? We were quite in sync. I knew he wanted to see Sarah. Ignoring him, I raised my purse. Can't you see I'm going out? Beat it, Alex. He couldn't believe his ears. Isabel, you... No wonder he was so shocked. In my past life, although I was bratty, I treated Alex with all my heart. Yet Alex often criticized me just like my mom, constantly trying to control me. In my past life, I was blind, couldn't tell good from bad, giving those fools the chance to hurt me. I thought about kicking Alex out right there, but the thought of Sarah made me pivot back into the living room. Spit it out and make it quick. Alex walked in with big strides, scanning the room like he was searching for someone. Isabel, I noticed you didn't have a birthday party last month, so I came to check on you. Last month? It's been over a month now. He just remembered, I thought, sitting on the couch, glancing at him impatiently. See? I said. Alex blinked, confused. Yeah, I see. Well, if you see, why are you still here? I raised my voice intentionally. Sure enough, Sarah rushed out of her room, followed by Ella. Alex's eyes lit up, and he instinctively moved towards Sarah. I laughed coldly, causing Alex to pause. Isabel, who are these two? He asked. I chuckled. Oh, you didn't know? I adopted 2 girls. Alex looked annoyed. Isabel, why are you being so sharp today? You're usually not like this. It's not, that time of the month, is it? Girls should stay calm. After all, when you marry into my family, I can't have you acting out and embarrassing us. I laughed at Alex's serious expression. Isabel, what's so funny? He demanded. I ran my fingers through my hair and pointed at Sarah and Ella. Meet my foster sisters, Sarah and Ella. Alex pretended to glance at them nonchalantly, but I noticed a little pause when he looked at Sarah. I smirked but said nothing. So, the option for a family alliance isn't just me, Isabel. If you're unhappy with me, feel free to call off the engagement. You've got two other options right here. I turned to Sarah and Ella, laughing. If either of you falls for Alex, make sure to let him know, so we don't have the two foster daughters fighting over a marriage contract. Alex rushed over. Isabel, what are you saying? Of course I love you. If only he didn't keep glancing at Sarah, I might have believed him. I got up, not wanting to keep pretending with him. I've got things to do, Alex. Spend some quality time with my dear sisters, I said, leaving without looking back. Alex didn't even try to stop me. They all thought I'd end up drinking the milk every day, lose my mind soon, making their plan that foolproof. How arrogant. I headed to the office. In my previous life, my dad pampered me into handing over my grandfather's company to him. I never cared about the office, always out having fun. After I went insane, my assets naturally went to my dad. As someone of no value, I had no worth in an alliance with Alex. He canceled our engagement without hesitation and hooked up with Sarah. My brother Noah was fooled by Sarah and ended up sharing her with Alex. What a scandalous trio. After my rebirth, I couldn't figure it out and decided to investigate. That's when I found out their scheme had started early on. I often skipped parties, and my dad would take Sarah instead. Alex had met Sarah long ago, and they were already close. No wonder in the previous life, everyone quickly accepted Sarah, pushing me aside. I trusted them too much, giving them the chance they needed. I spent the day at the office, gathering evidence against my dad, and returned home late at night. Alex was long gone, but Ella was waiting by my bedroom door. I raised an eyebrow, surprised. She tried to take my bag, but I sidestepped, letting her miss. Ella, you're the lady of the house. No need to act like a servant, all right? Ella awkwardly withdrew her hand, smiling. What's up? I asked. Ella followed me into the bedroom, immediately reporting the day's events. Sis, you wouldn't believe it. As soon as you left, Alex and Sarah were all over each other. He even stayed for lunch, and those two stayed in the bedroom all afternoon. If Noah wasn't away, he'd have punched Alex by now. I rubbed my temples, not interested in the small talk. Besides, I had my ways of knowing without Ella's reports. I cut her off. So, what do you think? Alex's family is well off, fitting for you. Ella's eyes darted, full of little schemes. She squirmed and asked cautiously, Sis, were you serious earlier? About that being your fiancé and all. I glanced at Ella, smiling. He's just a guy. If you like him, go for it. But whether it's you or Sarah who succeeds depends on your skills. Ella grinned with joy, thanking me. Growing up in such a toxic environment, her greed was almost visible, just wondering if this time around Sarah would come out on top again. My recent frequent trips to the company made my dad nervous. His constant probing was met with pushback from me. But after I started removing his close employees, he finally couldn't hold it in. At dinner, he glanced at me several times, finally speaking when I was nearly done. Isabel, seems like you've been frequenting the office a lot lately. I casually wiped my mouth. The company's mine. Now that I'm of age, it makes sense to start taking over, right? That comment made my dad explode. Isabel, just because you're of age doesn't mean you can ignore me. Did you even ask my opinion? You've been firing people left and right. Do you know the uproar you've caused? If the company goes down because of you, how will you cover it? I laughed sardonically. So, dear Dad, what do you think should be done? He snorted. I see you're struggling alone. How about letting Sarah help you out? Your skills are lacking. How ridiculous! I looked at Sarah, calmly eating like this had nothing to do with her, but she couldn't hide her smirk. Oh, Sarah, what do you think? I asked slowly. Sarah looked up, pressing her lips together. Sis, Dad's just worried you're overwhelmed. If it's okay with you, I can help lessen the burden. Before I could respond, my mom chimed in with a sarcastic snort. Why can't Isabel do it, but Sarah can? I think Ella can too. Let Ella go, I smirked. Yeah, Dad, you're being really obvious with your favoritism. Sarah's your adopted daughter. Isn't Ella too? My dad snorted. What nonsense is this? What can Ella do? How can she compare to Sarah? Ella shed a tear and put down her fork. Dad, I know you don't like me and look down on my background, but no matter what, I'm still a bit better than Sarah. After all, I did go to college. On the other hand, Sarah, with limited resources at the orphanage, probably didn't study much. Sarah turned pale, unable to argue. Ella wasn't wrong. Ella's biological dad was a jerk, but at least he didn't mess with her education. He let her attend school normally. Meanwhile, everything for Sarah came from me. My dad was only focused on sabotaging me. He embezzled money from the company for his own lifestyle, leaving Sarah with nothing. Otherwise, he wouldn't have had the heart to leave Sarah to grow up in an orphanage. When it comes down to it, he loves only himself. Whether it's me or Sarah, we're just pawns to him. But I don't feel sorry for Sarah at all. Those who are pitiful often have despicable traits. She's an illegitimate child trying to take what isn't hers. That's her wrong move. How can I sympathize with someone who tries to steal my life? They kept arguing, and I couldn't be bothered. I just got up and returned to my room. Without my approval, arguing won't change anything. Sarah didn't end up joining the company, but she got closer to Alex. I'm sure that was my dad scheming behind the scenes, but they didn't expect Ella to be a wild card. Ella has the same style as Sarah, but she's more refined. Alex still frequents our house, but his attention switches from Sarah to Ella. Ella is extremely greedy. She only wants real things. She came to my room again today. Sis, Sarah pretended to fall again today, making Alex stay in her room for half a day. And Noah, who hasn't been home for a while, suddenly returned today and went straight to her room. Sis, what should we do? I raised an eyebrow and chuckled. What? You need me to teach you? Shouldn't you fight for what's yours? Ella bit her lip, her eyes reddening. I don't want to upset Mom and Dad. I don't want chaos at home. A smile played on my lips as I looked at Ella with interest. Oh, really? It's not chaotic already? You think I can't hear those embarrassing noises from her room? Don't forget, I run this house. I acknowledge only you as my sister. I brought you here. Show some initiative. If you can't handle something this simple, how can I trust you in the future? Even if our mom favors you, if you're not capable, I can't keep supporting you out of kindness. Can I? Ella trembled, instinctively dropping to her knees. Sis, don't joke like that. No matter how much Mom likes me, I'm definitely closer to you. Ella's eyes flashed with resentment, clenching her hands tight. After all, I'm just the adopted one. I bent down, lifting her chin with my hand. Sis, I've told you, you're the lady of the house, not a servant. Stop belittling people. It devalues you. Look at Sarah. Even coming from the orphanage, she carries herself with the air of a young lady. But your face is more refined than Sarah's. Sarah's eyes are pretty, though, watery and charming to men. Must be all the eye drops she uses. She's always using them. I patted her shoulder with a smile. It's getting late. Go rest. Something happened to Sarah. Her eye drops were mixed with a large amount of sulfuric acid. It dripped into her eyes and onto her face. Her right eye went blind, and her face got scarred. It could have been saved, but ironically, no one was home that day. I gave the staff 3 days off. My dad was out with some lover, not back all night. My mom went on a trip with Ella. Noah is never around. I happened to be on a business trip. By the time everyone found out, it was the next day. When Alex found out, he rushed over. He wanted to confront me, but when he saw Sarah's bandaged face and eye, he instinctively backed away. But Sarah, half blind now, couldn't see clearly. She clung to Alex. Alex, it hurts so much. Someone must have tampered with my eye drops on purpose. My father exploded upon hearing that and immediately accused me. Isabel, was it you? How could you be so cruel? How could I have a daughter as heartless as you? Is this how you take care of your sister? Get out of this house. I glanced down at my fresh manicure. Quite lovely indeed. I had them made extra long, perfect for slapping. And I did slap. Made extra long, perfect for slapping. And I did slap. My dad screamed at me. So you hit his precious daughter. Seems fair, right? I used force, leaving a long scratch on Sarah's left cheek. Sarah didn't expect it and froze in disbelief. Sister, why'd you hit me? I'm the one who's hurt. I hated her whining, so I slapped her again. Perfect, now there are 2 scratches. My dad finally reacted and stepped between us. Isabel, what are you doing? Do you even care about me as your father? I tilted my head with a smile. Didn't you say she's my sister? Isn't it my duty to discipline her? How could something close to her have sulfuric acid without her knowing, unless she hurt herself intentionally, probably trying to frame someone? My mom snorted from the side. Look how chaotic this house is, causing trouble every day. We were having such a good time outside, yet everyone had to be summoned back. Why, are you that fond of this adopted daughter? Or the illegitimate one? My dad's face flushed at the jab. What do you mean by illegitimate? Sarah is obedient and sensible. Of course I care for her, Ella pouted beside him. But Dad, I'm obedient and sensible too. Don't play favorites. Sarah and I were both adopted together. I rubbed my ears, tired of my dad's crude yelling, and just walked away from the battlefield. Let them argue. Sarah's face won't heal anyway, Rangis. A few days later, I suggested throwing a party for Sarah and Ella. My dad was totally against it. Isabel, what's your real intention? Sarah's face hasn't healed and her eyes blind. She's already so self-conscious, staying in the bedroom all day. Do you really want to make her a spectacle in front of everyone? Isabel, how did I end up with such a wicked daughter like you? I raised my eyebrows and shot back. Oh, what now? You gonna kick me out again? Last time when Alex was around, I let it slide, didn't want to start anything. But you can't just lie like that. Who should get lost from this house? I don't think I need to spell it out. My dad slammed his chopsticks down, pointing at my mom, yelling, Look at this! This is what your parenting's done? I knew it. You all look down on me just because I'm married into your family. My mom snorted. You're the one choosing to think like that. Things were at a standoff when Ella suddenly started crying. Sis, are we really going to have a party? I've never been to one like that. I bet Sarah hasn't either. Deep down, she'd probably love it, right? My mom comforted Ella, holding her close. Of course we must have one. Ella shot Sarah a smug look. I also couldn't help but smile, just wondering when she sees the surprise I prepared, will she regret helping me on the day of the party? I made sure to bring back Noah, and Alex couldn't miss a single person. Sarah didn't want to come out at first, but Ella dragged her out anyway. Noah was startled, seeing Sarah like that. What happened to you? You look awful. He even gagged a bit. I almost spat out my drink, trying to hold back my laughter. Sarah went pale, covering her mouth, trying to run, but Ella held her back. Sis, don't run. This party's for us, remember? You can't just leave halfway through. I bet you've never been to such a nice party. Alex frowned, gently pulling Ella aside. Ella, don't dirty your hands. Sarah looked at Alex with disbelief. Alex, are you calling me dirty? Alex gave a cold smirk, staring straight ahead. Miss Sarah, let's not get too familiar. We're not close. Not close, not close, not close. Alex, you're actually saying we're not close? I raised an eyebrow, surprised. Were they about to expose themselves? That wouldn't do. I enjoyed fanning the flames. I immediately grabbed the mic, stepping up to perform my little show. Good evening, everyone. This party is for my 2 newly adopted sisters. A simple introduction isn't enough, though, so I've prepped a little video of them. Feel free to take videos or pictures. You'll be in for a surprise. The room's expressions changed, not fully grasping my meaning. But no worries, they'll get it soon enough. I nodded to the butler, and he started the slideshow. First up, Sarah's file. The first slide showed Sarah and my dad's paternity test. Dad went pale, moving to stop me. Isabel, what are you doing? Stop it! Mom slapped him hard across the face. So, I knew you were so attentive to this little girl because she's your illegitimate daughter. Watch your mouth. Who are you calling that? I glanced around. Finally, people caught on, pulling out phones to record. I smiled slowly. As you can see, this one-eyed Sarah is my adopted sister, but really my dad's love child with someone else. He brought her home on my birthday, quite openly. Too bad I canceled the party, or you'd have met her then. Oh, and many here probably know Sarah already from other parties, right? Alex avoided eye contact, stepping away from Sarah. Isabel, what are you talking about? I don't understand. Don't understand? No problem. I'll make you understand. I snapped my fingers, cueing the next video. It showed a pre-injury Sarah and Alex in Sarah's room. Sarah lay draped over Alex's arms. Alex, isn't it risky coming here like this? Alex grinned, his hands wandering. Why worry that fool Isabel will go crazy soon? We don't need to care about her. But do you miss me, huh? The rest was all detailed on HD video. After 3 minutes, I raised an eyebrow, continuing. My fiancé Alex and my half-sister were together, pretending not to know each other? Alex, what, you just stopped liking her because of her scars, huh? Alex turned pale, trying to intervene, but my security stopped him. Isabel, you really put cameras everywhere? In my own house. Why not? I ignored him and played the next video. This time, it was Sarah and Noah. Noah, being a playboy, had no shame, even pulling a girl close. See how great I am? Want to try? What a fool. Everyone, there's Sarah with my brother Noah in the video. Their hobbies are their own. But before I could finish, Sarah interrupted. No, I didn't know. I didn't know we were real siblings. I smirked, knowing she'd say that. Sister, how could you not know? But the butler played an audio clip of my dad and her talking. Dad, when can I finally be acknowledged? I don't want to be just an adopted daughter. I am part of this family, Sarah. Be patient. Once I get Isabel out, we'll be halfway there. Your main task is to keep Alex close. Understand? And don't forget about Isabel's company. It's a fortune beyond our imagination. I need to seize it. The crowd buzzed, shocked. So not only is their private life messy, but they plotted against Isabel too. Isn't it known Isabel's the one with power here? He's just living in her house. That guy's a monster. Using his own daughter like that? And Sarah? Well, she's getting what's coming, huh? I felt bad for her at first, but she deserved it for being so cruel. Sarah couldn't take it, trying to run, covering her mouth. Dad was yelling like mad. Alex, full of shame, wanted to leave. But the guards I hired stopped them. Noah was still boasting, so I ordered his mouth shut. My mom and Ella watched the scene, smirking. I gave a wry smile. Don't worry, none of them are getting away. Hey guys, it wasn't just Sarah messing around with Noah. This Ella here, she's been at it too. Ella shuddered in shock. Sis, what are you talking about? I chuckled and played 2 videos. One was of Ella and Alex and another of Ella and Noah. I raised an eyebrow and glanced at Alex. Alex, I gotta say you've got no standards. Go for both sisters, huh? My mom flipped out and tried to block the screen. Don't watch it, Isabel. What are you doing? Retract it now. Retract? Sorry, that's not an option. I had the butler reveal a maternity test between my mom and Ella. And guess what? It came out 99%. You know, Ella, you shouldn't be calling me sis. You should call me little sis. After all, you're the first kid born to my real mom and her favorite drug dealer. Ella looked at me in horror. You knew? I smiled. Ella, I'm not stupid. Just because you didn't tell me doesn't mean I couldn't find out on my own. Plus, just because she helped me deal with Sarah doesn't mean I'd let her off. Ella's a hungry wolf. You don't take her out for good. She'll come back to bite you. Anyway, I won't give her that chance. Ignoring the screams and yells behind me, I smiled at the crowd. Folks, I reckon today's gossip was juicy enough. Party's over, feel free to leave. Those sharp folks said a few polite words and slipped away. As for Alex, he got tossed out. Once everyone left, I waved, letting them go. As soon as my dad was freed, he rushed to hit me. I kicked his knee, making him kneel in pain. Oh, don't give me such a grand salute. I don't deserve it. Isabel, enough is enough. You get out of my sight. For once, my mom agreed with him. Yeah, get out of here, little brat. I snickered, elegantly got up from the couch, and slapped both my parents. Isabel, how dare you hit me? Isabel, I'm your mother. How dare you hit me? Your mother. How dare you hit me? Man, so noisy. Sorry, but you guys are the ones leaving. Oh, forgot to mention, I visited Granddad recently, clued him in on your dirty secrets one by one. Dear Mommy, tomorrow, Granddad will publicly disown you. And I'll be making a statement cutting ties with you guys too. And as for your illegitimate daughters, I glanced at Sarah and Ella. You love them so much, they're leaving with you. I signaled. As for your illegitimate daughters, I glanced at Sarah and Ella. You love them so much, they're leaving with you. I signaled the bodyguards, not giving them a chance to react, as they dragged them toward the door. Noah's face lit up. He ran over to suck up to me. Sis, come on. I'm your real brother. Real brother? I touched his familiar face. Noah, you know I had a dream once. You, for Sarah's sake, sold your own sister to some thugs you found, had them drag her into an alley, gang raped her, then beat her to death. And you recorded it. You think I can let you stay? Noah frantically denied it. No, sis, it was just a dream. How could I do that to you? You're my sister. But it wasn't a dream. In my past life before I died, I saw Noah standing there. I thought he'd save me being family and all, but he didn't. He just laughed and recorded me on his phone. I once thought my brother was just a bit of a troublemaker, not truly bad. How much mess had I cleaned up for him growing up? Yet he shoved his blood sister into a death pit for his half-sister. After dying, I learned the truth. Nobody knew, not even Noah himself, that he wasn't my real brother. He'd been swapped at birth by some murderer. My real brother had been killed right after birth. As for the murderer, once I came back to life, I had someone follow my lead and help the police bring him to justice. If I remember correctly, he's due for execution. I kicked Noah away, stomping on his knee. Noah, don't dirty my sight. The bodyguards dragged Noah out too. Next morning, I issued a public declaration with Granddad, cutting off the family ties. I also broke off the engagement with Alex. I thought it'd end there, but I underestimated the crowd. Sarah clung to Alex daily, but he ignored her and came pleading for my forgiveness. Sarah took to the internet, streaming live. She cried and claimed she was kicked out by her half-sister and raped by her half-brother. She said Noah was after Ella, but Ella drugged her and pushed her out. Ignorant citizens were outraged and started digging. Soon enough, they found me and branded me an envious, ungrateful bitch. Some even protested outside my company. I chuckled and had my assistant reach out to our allied families, getting the video from that night and posted it online with a hot topic purchase. The internet blew up. Realizing they'd been played, the citizens shifted their rage towards Sarah, yet she rode the wave, selling products online. But her good days were numbered. I traced Noah and Ella, handed them Sarah's address. They went after her and beat her to death. Little did they know, Sarah was live streaming. Everything was broadcast. Just as they started chopping her up, the cops arrived and took them in. Evidence was irrefutable, leaving them no room for defense. Both were arrested. My dear mom, once she found out, lost her mind and ended up in an institution. My awesome dad had a rough time landing a job and eventually found himself begging under a bridge. Feeling kinda generous, I handed over to the cops proof that he tried to poison me. I got him a steady job, a roof over his head, meals on the daily, and an exercise routine. But he still ended up behind bars. I heard when the cops finally caught him, he was tussling with a stray dog just to get some food. He really owes me one, way better than street life. The last bit of drama was Alex showing up at my doorstep, begging for me. Annoyed, I strutted out in my heels. Alex, have some shame, will ya? You've been hanging with Sarah and Ella, still not satisfied? Now you want to marry me. Big fan of sisterly love, huh? Alex got all teary and dropped to his knees. Isabel, let me explain. I didn't want any of it. I was forced. Isabel, only you are in my heart. We've been tight forever. You know who I am. I laughed till I cried. Alex, you're a grown man. Forced by two women? What, did they drag you away? I've got the videos. Haven't you learned? Alex hesitated, confused. Isabel, what do you mean? I kicked his shoulder, sneering. You'll find out soon enough. I spun around, went back inside, and posted the freshly recorded video online. Alex called, but I ignored him and blocked him completely. Online, folks were trashing Alex. Locals vandalized his house, and his family cut him off overnight, ditching him without a second thought. Without any family support, Alex spiraled fast. The next news was him as a homeless bum at the same spot where my dad used to be. And me? Didn't even have to get my hands dirty. Everything was sorted. Ready to live my dazzling life. At my birthday bash, my dad brought home Sarah from the orphanage, a girl who kinda looked like him. Sarah, big sis, I'm sorry. I'm not here to break up your family. I just really want a family of my own. Because of that, my parents felt sorry for her, and my brother swore to protect her. They pushed me over the edge, and I ended up dying tragically. In this life, I had no second thoughts. I brought home a girl who resembled my mom a lot from behind. Coincidentally, she said she wanted a family too, fighting illegitimacy with illegitimacy. Nothing wrong with that, right? When Dad brought Sarah home, he seemed kind of shocked. I guess he didn't expect the house to be so quiet instead of buzzing with guests. Dad looked at me suspiciously. Isabel, weren't you supposed to have a birthday party today? I was on my phone and glanced at the two standing by the door. This year, I just don't feel like it. Dad, thick-skinned as ever, quickly adjusted and brought Sarah over. Well, let me introduce you. This is Sarah, my newly adopted daughter. Sarah, this is your sister Isabel and brother Noah, he added. Noah, next to me, glanced at Sarah and got all hyped. He nudged my shoulder. Sis? I smiled silently. Noah was still a caring brother back then. It's a shame he'd later turn against me for Sarah and even play a role in my death. Luckily, I was reborn 5 days earlier. In the previous life during my birthday party, Dad brought Sarah home. He announced in front of everyone that she was his newly adopted daughter, and I, as if my mind was controlled, went berserk and started hitting Sarah in front of everyone. Sarah collapsed, going along with my aggression. She said, Big sister, I'm sorry. I'm not here to break up your family. I just really want a family. My fiancé Alex stepped in, protected Sarah, and scolded me, forcing me to apologize. She just wants a family. Can't you be a bit more chill? I apologized to her and transferred some shares. Let's just leave it at that. Even my usually cold-hearted mom took their side. Isabel, how did I raise you? You really let me down. My naive brother, seeing Sarah's tears, was already lost. Because of them, my reputation tanked that night. One thing led to another, causing even my grandfather, who backed me the most, to lose faith, and my friends all sided with Sarah. My parents shielded her. Alex dumped our engagement for her, and Noah sent me packing to the wolves. In the end, I was humiliated and beaten to death on the street. When I woke up again, I was back to 5 days before my birthday. Reborn, I realized how dumb I was in my past life. Their so-called love was just a series of death warrants. I looked down and didn't say much, but Dad, always impatient, started lecturing me. Isabel, Dad only brought Sarah home because her background's pitiful. You should be the bigger person and not bully her. Sarah seized the moment to kneel down, tearfully looking at me. Up close, she kind of resembled my dad. Big sister, don't worry. I won't try to steal Mom and Dad from you. I just really want a family. I hadn't even done anything, yet I was still treated like someone who could do no right as they blamed everything on me. When Mom came downstairs, she walked into this scene. She looked confused, but quickly started scolding. Isabel, what are you up to now? Bullying again? She came closer, trying to help Sarah up. Who is this? I laughed. This is your adopted daughter, who loves to kneel as soon as she gets home. Mom's face darkened, and she let go of Sarah. Adopted daughter? What adopted daughter loves to kneel as soon as she gets home? Mom's face turned dark and let go of Sarah. Adopted daughter? What adopted daughter? Why randomly adopt a daughter? Could she be your illegitimate child from an affair? Dad frowned. What nonsense are you spouting? Sarah had a rough life. I followed proper procedures to adopt her from the orphanage. Dad pulled out the adoption papers he had prepared long ago. I chuckled happily on the side. The adoption papers were real, but the illegitimate child part was real too. After all, Dad had kept Sarah in the orphanage. If I remember right, Dad's first love had the same last name as Sarah. I gave a sly smile, looked at Sarah sneakily hiding behind Dad, and gestured for her to come over. Sarah feigned surprise, cautiously approaching me, but I could see the disdain in her eyes. I smirked. What's your name, sister? I'm Sarah. Didn't Dad just say, what a coincidence, same last name as my dad's first love? Sarah froze, instinctively nodding before she even realized it. Yes, I laughed, but Mom was about to blow. I don't agree, Isabel. You're not allowed to agree. Isabel would never agree. I couldn't help but smirk, squinting at the schemers in front of me. Breaking my mom's fantasy? No, I agree. Everyone was shocked. Dad looked at me suspiciously. Isabel, you really agree? Can't blame him for being cautious. In the past life, Dad's plan to bring Sarah during the birthday party was to anger me, make me lose face, and disappoint Grandpa and me. Because I was the heir, the one with real power in the family. Dad was just a son-in-law, Mom was outrageously clueless, and my brother was a useless playboy. I was the one Grandpa chose for the family. Dad was just a son-in-law, Mom was outrageously clueless, and my brother was a useless playboy. I was Grandpa's chosen successor. For this reason, Dad cooked up such a sneaky plan to make me lose Grandpa's favor and step by step fall into their trap. Isabel, are you crazy? You dare disobey me? Mom screamed like a madwoman on the side. I calmly looked at her. You haven't raised me a day. Why should I listen to you? This family makes me sick. In my past life, they pushed me to death for their own desires. This life, along with that so-called fiancé, I won't let them get away with it. Maybe my gaze was too fierce because Noah, that idiot, felt uneasy, pulling at my sleeve cautiously. Sis, your eyes are scary. I slapped his hand away, disgusted by his sis routine. I turned to them and said, I agree to adopt Sarah. Before Dad could get too excited and Mom could get too upset, I spoke up again. But I paused, clapped my hands. From a small room nearby, someone walked out. Mom's face turned pale, even terrified. After all, they had a 70% resemblance. Dad and Sarah looked puzzled. Noah's eyes lit up, and his body leaned towards the newcomer. I was very satisfied with the scene. Coincidentally, I just adopted a sister too, Ella. Ella bowed shyly and looked at everyone, greeting them. Sister? Dad? Brother? With plenty of spite in her eyes, she glanced at Mom. Mom! I curled my lips and smiled silently. Both illegitimate daughters finally made it to this house. Things are about to get interesting. My dad was the first to oppose it. Nonsense. Isabel? What are you doing? Whose child is this? Did you kidnap her? Send her back immediately? Even if you don't like Sarah, you shouldn't use another child to embarrass her. Kidnap? I laughed. For Sarah, my own dad will say anything to slander me. Before I could speak, Ella pulled Sarah over. This sister, don't get it twisted. I'm not here to break you up. I'm here to join the family. Sister Isabel saw how pitiful I was and brought me home. So, just like you, I'm also an adopted daughter in this family. You know I don't have a home. Hearing the same words from someone else made Sarah push her away. I don't even know you, so how would I know? Ella cried out and fell to the ground. Sister, how can you hit? I explained everything clearly to Sister. And aren't you also an adopted daughter of the family? Why act like a big shot than Sister Isabel? I almost couldn't hold back my laughter. Ella's tricks were on par with Sarah's. Predictably, just as my dad got angry earlier, now my mom was fuming. She was so pissed she rushed forward and slapped Sarah. Sarah, who allowed you to hit Ella? Kneel down and apologize to Ella. My dad quickly shielded Sarah. What are you doing? Why are you hitting Sarah? Why can't I hit her? Isn't she an adopted daughter? Can't I educate her? But you can't hit Sarah over someone unknown. This Ella, I disagree. Well, I disagree with Sarah coming in. I was dying holding in my laughter. I slapped you for a reason. I continued laughing internally. Well, I disagree with Sarah coming in. I was holding back my laughter. But I actually find a way to proceed, yet it's clear the tension is building. Continuing. I calmly responded, I disagree with Sarah coming in. Trying to hold back my laughter, I continued, but I have someone even better to handle her. Clearing my throat, I glanced at my dad. Why can't I adopt Ella when I agreed to adopt Sarah? You're so hung up on Sarah. Is she really your illegitimate daughter? My dad chuckled coldly. Can't I adopt out of pity? I nodded in agreement. But Ella's pitiful too. Why can't we adopt her? Dad was stunned, his face turning beet red, struggling to come up with a reason. My foolishly obvious brother also chimed in, wanting to show off. Sis, why not just agree? Grandpa listens to you anyway. I could hardly hold back a laugh. This idiot actually helped me out, so really it's not my fault if I don't mess with them. I'd be doing myself a disservice. I looked over at Sarah hiding behind Dad. Sarah, aren't you saying anything? She was just staring at Ella. Do you mind her? But Ella's had a rough life. Her dad went to jail for drug trafficking. Her mom, I smirked at my mom, ran off with another man. Mom looked a bit mortified and bowed her head. Sarah's face twisted. No, I cut in, still smiling. And you might not realize it, but I call the shots around here. With that, I gave her a cold look. Sarah flinched, falling onto Dad as if she fainted. Playing dead? I pointed at them, grinning. Mom, see, these two really look like a couple. Mom whipped her head up, eyes full of hatred as she rushed to push Sarah away, but got blocked by Dad. Enough. Haven't we had enough drama? Adopt them both, Isabel. Remember to tell your grandpa. As expected, Dad backed down. Well then, I tilted my head towards Noah. Noah, who do you want to live next to? Noah froze, his mind in a frenzy. Sis, either's fine, he stammered, eyes darting between the girls. I caught the hint and smiled. How about one on each side? Siblings should, after all, get to know each other, right? No way, no way. Two sudden voices rang out. I looked at my parents, feigning puzzlement. Why not? Shouldn't they get to know each other? There's no blood relation. Who knows? Noah might just end up liking one of them. Could be a win-win. After that, I stopped talking. Sure enough, my parents' objections grew louder, but I know Noah too well. The more prohibited, the more he wants it, to the point he shouted, Why disagree? Sis agrees, so it's settled. Noah then grabbed each of their hands and led them upstairs. I couldn't help but grin. Actually, this move mattered little. In another life, Sarah ended up in Noah's bed anyway. Only this time, Ella's also in the picture. Whether she grabs this golden opportunity is her choice. Just as I was heading back to my room, Dad stopped me. Isabel, did you drink the milk the butler prepared these days? My steps faltered, but I played it cool. Of course, I drank it. I dumped it in the toilet. Dad's eyes were full of smugness and mockery as he smiled at me. Isabel, in the future, you should check with me on these big decisions. How could you cancel the party? I'm still your father. I gave him a blank look, turned, and left without a word. He won't have many chances to smile like that anymore. In this new life, I've figured out quite a bit, like why at my birthday party I lost control, lashing out at Sarah in front of everyone. I couldn't manage my own madness. Afterward, I was often in a daze, my temper unpredictable. The slightest thing would scare me, and I'd lash out at servants, eventually losing my sanity. After coming back, I quietly investigated and finally got my answer. This so-called father, who I once thought loved me so much, had the butler bring me milk daily leading up to my birthday. He drugged it, all for his daughter he'd destroy another, some father. But back then, he knelt in front of my house in the pouring rain, begging to marry my mom. And my mom's logic, even after eloping, the man she ran with went to jail. She ditched him and her child to come back. Grandpa handpicked suitable matches for her, but she didn't choose any. She picked my dad instead. Had me and Noah, and then neglected us. Yet when Sarah appeared, she took a sudden liking to her, treating her like gold. I never understood why my mom doted on her. Until I found Ella. Not long after I got back to my room, Ella knocked on my bedroom door. She looked around my room with envy in her eyes and bowed to me excitedly. Isabel, sis, thank you. Thank you for bringing me back. Thanks for giving me a home. I'll definitely help you deal with the trouble. I raised an eyebrow and smiled. Look at this kid who's crawled out of a bad situation. She knows how to be grateful already. She's trying to win me over. I waved my hand. I brought you back because I felt sorry for you. I don't expect you to do anything in return. Just go back and rest. I'm tired now. Ella hesitated. Sis, what? Ella cautiously probed. Do you know about my biological mom? I snorted. How would I know? Everything I know you told me. Ella was relieved and said a few more polite words before leaving. I blinked. But what I know isn't just that my dear sweet sister in my past life. My mom always looked at Sarah and called her Ella. But I was too out of it, too confused to think about these questions clearly. When I got my life back, I started digging into things, starting with my mom. And I found out. When I found Ella, she was being bullied by a bunch of girls in a bar restroom. Think you can steal my man? Girls. Strip her, let's post it online and show everyone this shameless girl hitting on someone else's boyfriend. Ella cried and retorted, Can't handle your own boyfriend? What's it got to do with me? I didn't make him like me. Just as the lead girl was about to slap her, I had my people pull them away, gave them money, and sent them off. I walked up to Ella alone and lifted her chin, looking at her face. In that moment, I finally understood why my mom favored Sarah so much in the past life. Even though Sarah had no blood relation to her at all, my mom hid a secret from everyone, even my grandfather. She had a daughter with the man who went to jail, and that was Ella. Sarah and Ella were eerily alike, not in looks, but in personality. The resemblance made me want to crush Ella, but I held back. I played the role of the innocent, naive heiress and fixed Ella's messy clothes. Ella, what about your family? Ella's nose wrinkled with sorrow. Tears fell again. My dad's in jail. Mom ran off with someone. Can you help me, sister? You seem really capable. I smiled and quickly agreed. Of course I do. I only have one brother at home. It's nice to have a thoughtful sister like you. You can come to my home. So I brought Ella home. When she entered and saw our family picture in the living room, she jumped. I knew what was up. Her mom, who ran off with someone else, was living the good life here. She couldn't hide the resentment in her eyes when she saw my mom tonight. And Sarah, this time, I sent my mom's real daughter, who she felt guilty about, to her side. How far could a replacement like Sarah go? I was very curious. Ella didn't disappoint. She tried everything to constantly oppose Sarah. When Sarah only served my dad during dinner, Ella commented snidely, "Why just serve dad, Sarah? Not holding a grudge against mom, are you? You're here now. Let bygones be bygones. Mom's your mom too, right? Blame me for forgetting." Sarah grew up in an orphanage, might not have had a good chance to learn basic manners, unlike me, who's so considerate. Then she served everyone, including Sarah. Sarah, it's okay if you don't know. You can ask Isabel. She won't look down on you. Sarah wanted to cry, but Ella was faster. Ella suddenly put down her chopsticks, covered her face, and choked. Why is Sarah ignoring me? Doesn't she like me? I was just trying to be nice. Sarah's freshly shed tears awkwardly fell from her eyes, but she couldn't say a word to retort. When Noah came home drunk and Sarah rushed to him, twisting around him. "Brother, are you okay? Let me help you to your room." Ella bumped Sarah, spilling water all over her. Ella, what's your problem?" Ella took over, helping Noah, and looked at Sarah in surprise. "Oh, Sarah, you all right? Look at the water spill. Didn't want you to fall. Didn't mean to bump you. Hope sis doesn't blame me." "You?" Sarah's face flushed. She was speechless. When Sarah thought up cooking to impress everyone, Ella volunteered to help. No idea how they helped, but as Sarah carried soup from the kitchen, Ella rushed over, took the soup plate, tripped, and spilled it over herself. Before Sarah could speak, Ella began to cry. "Sis doesn't like me? Why purposely splash me with soup? I was only helping you, right? Wasn't trying to steal your credit." My mom couldn't stand Ella being wronged, went up and slapped Sarah. "Sarah, these dishes are expensive. Who'll pay if they're broken?" My dad joined the war. Why yell? Is that how you talk to kids? Sarah, though, was ignored by everyone. I always sat on the side, watching the drama unfold happily. Too bad, watching it too much got old. Yet someone, sensing my inner grumbles, decided to stir the pot. My fiancé, Alex, suddenly showed up at my house. I was just about to leave but saw him at the door reaching to knock. A flash of dislike passed my eyes. He kept peeking inside, grinning. "Isabel, you knew I was coming? Open up? We're connected like that." I knew he was looking for Sarah. I didn't bother responding, just lifted my bag. "Can't you see I'm heading out? Get lost." Alex looked at me unbelieving. "Isabel, you..." No wonder he was shocked. In my past life, I was spoiled but treated Alex like a treasure. Alex, though, would often belittle me like my mom, manipulating me mentally. I was spoiled but treated Alex like a treasure. Alex, though, would often belittle me like my mom, manipulating me mentally. I was truly blind back then. Couldn't tell good from bad and got hurt by these fools. I wanted to kick Alex out, but thinking of Sarah, I turned back to the living room. "What's up? Get to it." Alex walked in briskly, looking around as if searching for someone. "Isabel, I noticed you didn't have a birthday party a while back, so I'm here to see what's up." "Oh, a while back?" I thought. "It's been over a month. And he's just now remembering? I sat on the couch, impatiently looking at him. See me now, huh? Alex looked a bit surprised. Yeah, I see you. Now that you've seen me, you can leave. I intentionally raised my voice. Sure enough, the next moment, Sarah rushed out of the bedroom, followed by Ella. Alex's eyes lit up, and he instinctively moved toward Sarah. I chuckled coldly, causing him to stop in his tracks. Isabel, who are these two? He asked. I laughed sarcastically. What, you didn't know my family adopted 2 daughters? Alex looked a bit annoyed. Isabel, why are you being so hostile today? You weren't like this before. Oh, are you on your period? Girls shouldn't get too worked up. Or when you're married into my family, it'd be our reputation at stake if you did something crazy. I laughed out loud at Alex's self-righteous expression. What are you laughing at, Isabel? He asked, frowning. I ran a hand through my hair and pointed at the 2 by my side. Let me introduce you to my adopted sisters, Sarah and Ella. Alex glanced over, pretending not to care. I see them, so what? But I noticed he paused slightly when he looked at Sarah. I smirked but didn't call him out on it. So, in the future, your family might not only have me, Isabel, as a marriage option. If you're unhappy with me, feel free to call off the engagement. You've got 2 more choices here. I grinned at Sarah and Ella. Sisters, if either of you likes Alex, remember to let him know, so we don't make a joke out of ourselves fighting over one guy. Alex hurried over to me. Isabel, what are you saying? I love you. If he wasn't glancing at Sarah now and then, I might have believed him. I quickly got up, tired of playing this act with him. I have things to do, so I'm leaving. You and my dear sisters can bond, I said, leaving without looking back. Not that Alex made any effort to stop me. After all, they believed I drank the milk daily. Soon they thought I wouldn't know what was right or wrong. They were sure their plan would succeed. I headed to the office. In my past life, my dad spoiled me, convincing me to hand over the company left by my grandpa to him. I traveled, never caring about the business. Once I went crazy, the assets naturally fell into my dad's hands. A useless Isabel had no value, and Alex called off our engagement without hesitation, quickly hooking up with Sarah. And my love-crazy brother Noah? Somehow Sarah tricked him, and he ended up sharing her with Alex. What a twisted man. Since being reborn, I couldn't figure it out, so I had someone investigate. Since being reborn, I couldn't figure it out, so I had someone investigate. Turned out they'd been scheming for a long time. I often skipped banquets, too lazy to deal with them. My dad seized the opportunity to take Sarah along. And Alex. He had met Sarah long before. They had poured their hearts out to each other. No wonder in my last life, I quickly accepted Sarah and pushed me aside. I trusted them too much, giving them an opening. I spent the day at the office collecting evidence against my dad, working late into the night before heading home. Alex was long gone, but Ella was waiting by my bedroom door. I raised an eyebrow, a little surprised. Ella immediately tried to take my bag, but I sidestepped her attempts. Ella, you're the lady of the house. No need to act like a servant. Got it? Ella awkwardly withdrew her hand, smiling. What's up? I asked. Ella followed me into the bedroom and started reporting the day's events without being prompted. Sis, you don't know. The minute you left, Alex and Sarah were all lovey-dovey. Alex even stayed for lunch. And afterward, they went to the bedroom and never came out. I sighed, massaging my temples, not really in the mood to hear such domestic tales. Besides, I had my own ways of finding out and didn't need Ella to tell me. I cut her off abruptly. So, what are you thinking? Alex's family may not be top tier, but they're decent enough more than you'd need, I pointed out, seeing her crafty little plans through her eyes. She squirmed a bit, looking at me hopefully. Sis, is what you said earlier true? I mean, he's your fiancé and... I glanced at Ella, laughing. He's just a man. If you like him, go ahead. But whether it's you or Sarah, that's up to your own skills. Ella was overjoyed, quickly thanking me. Amazing how kids raised in a toxic environment can barely hide their greed. I wonder if this time, Sarah can still come out on top. My recent frequent trips to the office made my dad anxious. He probed several times, but I shrugged him off. Yet after I got rid of a few of his trusted employees, he couldn't hold back. At dinner, he eyed me a few times. It wasn't until I was nearly done eating that he spoke. Isabel, you've been going to the office a lot lately, huh? I casually wiped my mouth. The company is mine, Dad. I'm of age now. I'm just starting to manage it. Makes sense, right? As soon as I said this, my dad exploded. Isabel, just because you're an adult now, does that mean you don't have to listen to me? Did you ask for my opinion? You know nothing and started firing people recklessly. The staff is up in arms. And if the company goes under, how will you carry the blame? I smirked at him. Well, dear Dad, what do you suggest? My dad snorted. I think you're struggling to manage on your own. How about letting Sarah help you out? Struggling? What a joke. I looked over at Sarah, who was eating as if it had nothing to do with her, though she couldn't hide her smile. I slowly asked, Oh? Sarah, what do you think? Sarah lifted her head, pursing her lips. Sis, Dad is worried you might be overwhelmed. If you don't mind, I could help take some pressure off you. Before I could respond, my mom let out a sarcastic snort from the side. How come Isabel can't do it, but Sarah can? In that case, I think Ella should try too. Let Ella have a go. I curved my lips slightly. Dad, your favoritism is showing. Sarah is your adopted daughter. Isn't Ella your daughter too? Dad snorted. Don't be ridiculous. What can Ella do that Sarah can't? Ella appropriately shed a tear and put down her bowl and chopsticks. Dad, I know you don't like me and look down on my background. But in any case, I'm still better than Sarah. After all, I actually went to college. Sarah, on the other hand, probably didn't get much education since orphanage resources are limited. Sarah's face turned pale, and she couldn't argue back. Ella wasn't wrong about that. Ella's biological dad is a jerk, but he didn't mess with her studies, letting her go to school normally. All Sarah's expenses were managed by me. Dad was just focused on undermining me, spending all the misappropriated company funds on his own lifestyle rather than on Sarah. Otherwise, why would he have the heart to leave Sarah to grow up in an orphanage? In the end, he only loves himself. Whether it's me or Sarah, we're just pawns to him. But I don't feel sorry for Sarah at all. She's pitiful, but she can also be hateful. She's an illegitimate daughter trying to take what isn't rightfully hers, and that's wrong. How can I sympathize with someone who took away my life? The argument went on, and I couldn't be bothered. I just stood up and went back to my room. Without my permission, they could argue all they wanted. Sarah never ended up joining the company, but she got closer to Alex. I suppose Dad was scheming for her behind the scenes. But they didn't expect Ella to throw a wrench in the works. Ella's style matches Sarah's, only she looks a bit more refined. While Alex still frequently visited the Song family, his gaze often shifted from Sarah to Ella. But Ella is extremely greedy. She only wants tangible gains. She barged into my room today. Sister, Sarah deliberately faked a fall again today and ended up with Alex in her room for half the day. And Noah, who hasn't been home for ages, suddenly returned today and immediately headed to Sarah's room. Sister, what should we do? I raised an eyebrow and snorted. Why do you need me to teach you? Shouldn't you fight for your own things? Ella bit her lip, eyes red. I'm afraid of hurting Dad and Mom's feelings. I don't want to cause chaos at home. I smiled slightly, looking at Ella with interest. Really, isn't it already chaotic now? As if I can't hear those shameful sounds in her room. Don't forget, this house listens to me. I only acknowledge you as my sister. You have to stand up for yourself at least. If you can't handle something so simple, how can I trust you in the future? Even if Mom favors you, if you're not capable, I can't keep being charitable and supporting you, can I? Ella trembled and instinctively knelt down. Sister, you must be joking. No matter how much Mom likes me, I'm definitely closer to you. Ella's eyes flashed with resentment as she clenched her hands tightly. I'm just an adopted daughter, after all. I bent down and lifted her chin. Little sister, I told you you're the lady of this house, not a servant. Stop kneeling to everyone. You're the lady of this house, not a servant. Stop kneeling to everyone. It devalues you. Look at Sarah. Even as an orphan, she carries herself like a princess with poise. But your face is much more refined than Sarah's. However, Sarah's eyes are pretty and watery. Men see them, and their hearts melt. I guess she uses a lot of eye drops. She's always putting them in, you know? I chuckled and patted her shoulder. It's getting late. Go rest. Sarah got into trouble. Her eye drops had been mixed with a substantial amount of sulfuric acid. The moment she used them, sulfuric acid dripped into her eye and onto her face. She lost sight in her right eye, and her face got ruined. She could have been saved, but that day, no one was home. I gave the servants 3 days off. Dad was probably off at some lover's place, chatting about life, and didn't come back. Mom had taken Ella on a trip days before. Noah was rarely around, and I happened to be on a business trip. Everyone found out the next day. When Alex heard about it, he came rushing over. He wanted to confront me, but when he saw Sarah's bandaged half face and eye, he instinctively backed off. But Sarah, half blind, couldn't see well, and clung to Alex. Alex, it hurts so much. Someone must have put something in my eye drops on purpose. It hurts so much. Someone must have put something in my eye drops on purpose. Dad, hearing this, immediately exploded, demanding, "Isabel, did you do this? How can you be so cruel? How can I have such a snake-hearted daughter like you? Is this how you take care of your sister? Get out of this house." I looked down at my newly done nails. They were quite lovely. I even got them extended, perfect for slapping someone across the face. And I did just that. Dad cursed at me, so I slapped his precious daughter. Seemed fair, right? I went hard, leaving a long scratch across Sarah's left cheek. Sarah hadn't expected this and took the slap head on. "Sister, why did you hit me? I'm the one who's hurt. I know you've never liked me, but with Dad and Mom here, how could you do this to me?" I found her noise annoying, so I slapped her again. Great, 2 marks now. Dad finally snapped out of it and got between us. "Isabel, what are you doing? Do you even care about me as your father?" I tilted my head and smiled. "Wasn't this your advice? She's my sister. Watching over her is only right, isn't it? Her own belongings end up with acid, harming herself, and she's trying to frame somebody? Who would that be?" Mom huffed from the side. "Look at this mess, always causing trouble." I was having a great time outside, and now we have to be called back. "What, do you feel sorry for your adopted daughter, or is it your illegitimate child?" Dad hit in a sore spot, turned red. "What illegitimate child?" "Sarah is obedient and sensible. Of course, she deserves my pity." Ella pouted with grievance. "But Dad, I'm obedient and sensible too. Please don't be too biased." Sarah and I were both adopted together. I rubbed my ears, unable to endure Dad's crude insults, and simply walked away from the battlefield. Let them argue. Sarah's face wouldn't return to its old self. A few days later, I suggested hosting a party for Sarah and Ella. Dad was strongly against it. "Isabel, what's your motive? Sarah's face isn't healed, and her eye is blind. She's been holed up in her room depressed, and now you want to humiliate her in front of everyone? Isabel, how did I end up with such a mean daughter like you?" I raised an eyebrow and continued. "What now? You gonna tell me to get out of the house again? Last time, Alex was here, so I cut you some slack. But you can't just lie like that, right? We all know who really should leave this house, don't we?" My dad was furious and threw his chopsticks down, pointing at my mom and yelling, "Look at what your teaching has done to our kid." I knew it. "You all look down on me. Think I'm beneath you because I married into your family." My mom scoffed. "You're the one who wants to think that." Things got tense, and Ella started crying suddenly. "Boo-hoo, sis! Are we really gonna have a party for us?" I've never been to a party like this, and I'm sure Sarah hasn't either. She might secretly want it too, right? My mom pulled Ella into a hug, comforting her. "Of course, we'll have it. We must have." Ella looked at Sarah and smiled smugly. I couldn't help but laugh. I wondered if when she saw the surprise I planned for her, she'd regret helping me. On the day of the party, I made sure to bring Noah back. And Alex too. Couldn't miss anyone. Sarah refused to come out at first, but Ella practically dragged her out. When Noah saw Sarah, he was startled. "What happened to you? Why do you look so awful?" He even gagged a little. I almost spit out my drink from laughing. Sarah's face went pale, and she tried to run away, covering her mouth. But Ella held on to her. "Sis, don't run. This party is for us. You've never been to such a fancy party. You can't just leave halfway through." Alex frowned a little, gently pulling Ella's hand. "Ella, don't get your hands dirty." Sarah looked at Alex in disbelief. "Alex, are you calling me dirty?" Alex let out a cold snort, looking straight ahead. Miss Sarah, stop acting like we're close. We're not close. You're saying we're not close? Alex raised an eyebrow, a bit surprised. Were they about to spill it all themselves? No way. I like stirring things up myself. I quickly walked to the big screen, tapped the mic, and started my act. Good evening, everyone. This party is in honor of my two newly adopted sisters. Just talking about them doesn't quite do it justice, so I've prepared a video for each of them. Feel free to record. There's quite a surprise in store. People had mixed reactions, unsure of what I meant. But it didn't matter. They'd figure it out soon. I nodded at the butler, who immediately started the slideshow. First up was Sarah's info. The first image was Sarah's paternity test with my dad. My dad's face went white as snow, and he tried to stop me. Isabel, what the hell are you doing? Stop this right now. My mom slapped him hard. Oh, really? Now I get why you're so worked up about this little bitch. Turns out she's your love child. You better watch who you're calling a bitch. I glanced at the crowd. They finally started reacting, pulling out their phones to capture the scene. I smiled slowly and said, Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, this one-eyed Sarah, my adopted sister, is actually my dad's illegitimate child, and he brought her home on my birthday. Too bad I canceled the birthday party. Otherwise, you'd all have met Sarah then. Oh, wait, I'm sure many of you have met Sarah at other parties already. I looked at Alex. Right, Alex? Alex's eyes darted about, and he stepped away from Sarah. Isabel, what are you talking about? I don't understand. Don't understand? No worries. I'll help you understand. I snapped my fingers, and the butler switched to the next video. It featured Sarah before her injury with Alex in her bedroom. Sarah lay limp in Alex's arms, looking helpless. Alex, isn't it too obvious for you to come here looking for me? Alex chuckled, his hands wandering. Why worry? That fool Isabel will go insane anyway. Don't bother with her. But do you miss me? The video in perfect clarity played out for everyone. It wrapped up after 3 minutes, and I raised my eyebrow to continue. My fiancé Alex was cozying up to my half-sister while pretending not to know her. Alex, did you start ignoring her just because she got scarred? Alex turned pale, tried stepping forward to stop me, but my bodyguards held him back. Isabel, you set up cameras. It's my house. Why wouldn't I? I brushed him off and signaled for the butler to show the next video. This time, it was Sarah with Noah. Noah, ever the playboy, seemed shameless, pulling a girl close. See how good I am? Want to try too? What a fool. Nah. Ladies, gentlemen, this video features my brother Noah and Sarah. I won't comment on personal tastes, but before I could finish, Sarah cut in, desperate. No, I didn't know we were really siblings. I smirked, expecting that response. Sister, how could you not know? The butler played an audio clip of my dad talking to her. Dad, when will I get my real identity back? I don't want to be an adopted daughter. I'm supposed to be a rich girl too. Sarah, hang on. Once Isabel's out of the house, it'll almost be done. Just keep Alex tied to you, all right? And Isabel's company, that's a fortune you could never spend in 10 lifetimes. I need it. The crowd stirred, chatting loudly. What a mess, living like this and even with her own brother. Seems like they planned on taking down Miss Isabel from the start, didn't they? Everyone knows Isabel's the one in charge. That man's just an in-law. What a beast, scheming against his own daughter. Serves that Sarah right, getting what she deserves. I even felt bad for her at first. Sarah couldn't take it. She tried to run, holding her mouth in shock. My dad was furious, ranting madly. Alex hung his head in shame, wanting to slip away. They were all blocked by my bodyguards. Noah kept showing off until I had someone shut him up. Near me, Mom and Ella watched the chaos with glee. I grinned slyly. Don't worry, none of them are getting out of this. Hey everyone! Sarah's not the only one having a fling with Noah. Ella jolted in shock. Sister, what are you talking about? I just chuckled and played a couple of videos. One of Ella with Alex, another of her with Noah. I raised an eyebrow and looked at Alex. Alex, I gotta say you really don't discriminate, do you? Sisters and all? My mom lost it, trying to block the screen. Turn that off, Isabel. What are you doing? Take it down now. Take it down. Sorry, not an option. I had the house manager play the paternity test results of Mom and Ella. Turns out Ella's got a 99% match with my mom. Ella, you shouldn't be calling me sister. Sister, technically, you should be calling me little sister. You're the first child between my mom and her favorite drug trafficker. Ella looked at me horrified. You know everything. I laughed. Ella, I'm not stupid. If you didn't tell me, I could figure it out myself. And just because you helped me against Sarah doesn't mean you get a free pass. You're like a wolf that can't be fed enough, dangerous unless dealt with. Ignoring the angry yelling behind me, I smiled sweetly at the crowd. Guys, I think today's gossip has been spicy enough. Let's call it a night, shall we? The crowd, knowing when they've had enough, slipped away politely. And as for Alex, I had him thrown out. Once the outsiders left, I gestured for them to be released. As soon as my dad was freed, he rushed at me to hit me. I kicked his knee, making him kneel. Don't give me such big bows. I really don't deserve it. Isabel, you better watch yourself. You're no daughter of mine. Get out now. My mom sided with him for once. Yeah, get out, you little bitch. I couldn't help but snicker, elegantly standing up and smacking each of them in the face. Isabel, you dare hit me? They were so noisy. Sorry, but it's you guys who need to get out. Oh, I might have forgotten to mention, I visited Grandpa recently and filled him in on all your dirty little secrets. Tomorrow, he's making an announcement to cut all ties with you. As for you two's beloved illegitimate daughter, I glanced over at Sarah and Ella. So devoted to them, you should all leave together. I waved my hand, giving them no time to react, and had the guards drag them toward the door. Noah looked hopeful as he scurried over. Sis, not me, right? I'm your real brother, real brother? I stroked his face, once so familiar. Noah, you know, I had this dream. You sold me out for Sarah, leading a bunch of thugs to me, had them assault me, then watched and filmed it all. You think I can let you stay? Noah hurriedly denied it. No, sis, that's just a dream. How could I do that to you? But it wasn't just a dream. How could I do that to you? But it wasn't just a dream. Before I died last time, I saw Noah from not too far away. I thought he'd save me. After all, we are family, but he didn't. He laughed, filming me. I always thought my brother was just a bit naughty. How many messes did I clean up for him? But for a half-sister, he threw me into death's arms. After my death, I learned the truth. The entire family, including Noah, was unaware he wasn't my real brother. He'd been switched at birth by a murderer. My real brother was killed shortly after being born. I took care of that murderer after my rebirth, providing enough evidence for the police to convict him. If I recall, he's been executed. I kicked Noah aside, stepping firmly on his knee. Noah, I won't let you dirty my sight. Hey. With a wave, the guards dragged him out too. The next morning, Grandpa and I released a statement, severing all ties with them. I also announced the cancellation of my engagement to Alex. I thought that was the end of it, but I underestimated them. Sarah started pursuing Alex every day. When Alex ignored her, he came begging me for forgiveness. Sarah turned to selling drama online, live streaming her so-called suffering. She claimed her half-sister kicked her out and that her half-brother assaulted her. She said Noah originally had his eyes on Ella, but Ella drugged her and pushed her out instead. Unknowing citizens were furious, digging around until they found me. I became the villain, a heartless, ungrateful wench. Some even showed up at my company with banners to protest. I just smiled and had my assistant contact some family friends to send me the videos from that night. I uploaded them online myself and even paid for a trending slot. The internet exploded. People realized that they'd been fooled and turned their anger back on Sarah. Sarah got a lot of views and started selling stuff. But her happy days were short-lived. I had people track down Noah and Ella, giving them her location. They beat her to death, not realizing she was streaming live at the time. Everything they did got broadcast. Just as they began dismembering her, the cops showed up and arrested them. There was irrefutable evidence, leaving them no room to deny anything. Both were taken away by police. As for my real mom, she lost her mind when she heard about this and ended up in a psychiatric hospital. My real dad faced rejection everywhere he sought work and eventually became a beggar on a bridge. I did him a favor, handing over all evidence of his attempts to harm me to the police, landing him a stable job with a place to stay and 3 square meals a day. Plus, he's got regular supervised exercise, that is, in prison. I heard that when the cops went to nab him, he was fighting a stray dog for food. He should really thank me. That's way better than begging on the street. Now, the only trouble left is Alex, who's begging to see me at my door right now. I walk out, irritated, in my heels. Alex, do you have no shame? You have such specific tastes, huh? You've been with Sarah and Ella, and it's still not enough? Now you want to tie the knot with me? You love sibling drama that much? Tears in his eyes, Alex kneels and keeps pleading with me. Isabel, let me explain. None of it was voluntary. I was forced. Isabel, you're the only one I've ever cared about. I love only you. Isabel, we've known each other for so many years. You know what kind of person I am. I laughed until tears rolled down my face. Alex, you, a grown man, forced by 2 women? Were they physically dragging you? I've got videos of everything. Why can't you learn from your mistakes? Alex looks a bit confused. Isabel, what do you mean? I kicked his shoulder in disgust. What do I mean? You'll find out soon enough. I turned around, walked back inside, and posted the video I just recorded online. Alex called me quickly, but I ignored all his calls and blocked him. The internet was full of people trashing Alex. Some local folks even went to his house and splattered paint on his front door. His family couldn't take the shame and moved away overnight, ditching Alex. They abandoned Alex, the dead weight. With no support from home, he couldn't get far. Later, when I heard about him again, he had become a homeless beggar, wandering around looking disheveled. Yeah, at the same spot my dad was at last time. And I didn't have to get my hands dirty. All sorted now. I'm off to live my dazzling life.